I had a request recently to show how to install a remote OPC collector to collect from a remote OPC server that is not sitting on the Historian machine. This here is Configuration Hub for GE Historian 2024. We'll go ahead and log in. And we'll click Historian on the left-hand side, go to Systems, and we'll see our one Historian here and click on that. And the first thing you need to do that a lot of people forget about is disable strict collector authentication. And we're doing that so that we don't have to set up certificates and authentication for the collector itself. Now, if you needed to do that, certainly you can leave that enabled and do all the requirements to ensure that that's 100% authenticated by username and password. But for now, we're going to go ahead and do this. We are going to click collectors, but we're not really going to do anything here. This is just going to show you that we do have collectors out there. They're all on this particular server, Next Gen Manufacturing. And let's go over to the collector machine. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and I believe in downloads, I've got my GE Historian. We'll mount this and go ahead and install. And what we want to install here are the collectors. And it's a little different from, say, 5.5 Historian and some previous versions of GE Historian. So when you install the collectors here, you're not installing specific collectors like you used to. What you're actually doing is installing a whole collector base and a service that allows the configuration hub to connect to and install collectors on the fly. So let's go ahead and accept this. We're going to go ahead and leave it at the C drive. And then for the data directory, it's pretty important on a remote server to set this up as a non-operating system directory. And the reason is a lot of the store and forward data, for example, when the Historian goes down, it will store it locally where the collector sits. That data can get large if you have a big system. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the C drive just because this is a temporary thing anyway. And now I need to pick the Historian server. We saw before that's Next Gen Manufacturing. And then there is a username and password that I set up. And this username and password is going to ensure that these collectors can be set up and used on the system with the services. We'll hit next. Oh, I did not type that correctly. There we go. And install. Okay, now we have the collectors installed. And if you haven't noticed to this point, you might see that we have IGS server installed. That's GE's Intellution Gateway Server, OPC server, which is really just a rebranded version of Kepware SCADA. So that's installed. What we'll need to do now, just to be safe, is to reboot the machine. And we're just going to do that because at times DLLs are in memory, and we want to make sure that all of the DLLs are reloaded and the service is properly started. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now that the server has rebooted, what we want to look at are the Windows services. And inside the services, everything for GE Historian is typically under Historian. So if we click H, we can see Historian Remote Collector Management Agent. It is running, which is exactly what we need. So let's go head back over to Configuration Hub. Okay, so now that we've got Configuration Hub up, we've got a set of collectors here. And what we want to do now is install a remote collector. So to do that, we click on the plus button and now select the machine. And that machine is Factory Studio 2022. We've got any collector we want that we can go ahead and install there, but we'll pick the OPC collector and we'll get details. That's going to get the installation drive and data directory information back from the server. After getting the details, we'll go ahead and click Next. And now we get the ability to select which OPC server we want to collect data from. And as I mentioned previously, we've got two OPC servers. We've got Kepware, KepserverEX, and GE's Intellution Gateway Server. We'll go ahead and select Kepware. We're going to the historian server, which is the local server. I do not have security set up right now, so we don't need a username and password. But if you did, obviously put that in and go ahead and test the connection. And now the collector name, we'll leave it as a service account. And for now, we'll go ahead and let that use local system as the service running authentication. Okay, so we've got that one added. And we'll go ahead and add the Intellution Gateway Server as well. Okay, we've got both OPC servers added. You can see it says stopped at the moment. If we refresh to see if it started, we know that it hasn't. So let's go ahead over to the collector machine and see if we can start them. You can see by default they're set up for manual mode, so let's go ahead and turn them both to automatic. And we'll start both OPC servers. Okay, both are started. Let's head back to the historian. You can see it says stopped, but if we hit refresh, we'll see that they're both running. And if I wanted to go ahead and add some tags, I could do that. Those two collectors are up and running. If I click add tags, we should see that we've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. Got this conveyance packaging wrapper that I created. Unfortunately, I didn't create a lot of tags in any of this stuff, but if there were some tags, we would be able to get to that information. So actually, there are some tags inside here, so we could select those, add the tags, and as soon as they start collecting, we'll see data. That's it. That's all you need to do to get remote collectors up and running on a machine that is not your historian.